Far back then, when I was living with my grandma, rice and beans, this very meal we are preparing right now, happened to be one of those delicacies she uses to entice me whenever she wanted me to do something for her because she knew I loved it so much. Living with my grandma is an experience I will never forget. Of course, I wasn't living permanently with her, but whenever she needed some assistance, she would just come over to my dad and demand for me. My dad's house wasn't so far away from hers. She was so fond of me, maybe because I was very hardworking as a young child. I would run errand here and there without complaining, unlike my other siblings who wouldn't find it funny in running errand. Then one fateful day, there was a party, a child dedication party in the compound opposite my grandma. I was just alone in the house. Grandma had gone there to felicitate with them. You can imagine you are just alone in the house and you don't know what to do. Your grandma has gone out, everyone else has gone out to the party, and you are just left alone in the house. So after a short while, as a child that I was, I decided to also join them over there. Who wouldn't want to be there where there is celebration? When I got there, I was so excited. You can imagine. With the music, with the dancing, with the eating, all that was going on at that place got me so excited. Moving from corner to corner, I was just too happy. And then all of a sudden, Grandma sighted me. I immediately knew what that was going to be. She gave me the corner eye. You understand? She gave me a very stern look from the corner of her eyes. You know that kind of a look. A look that they will give to you without talking. In those days, they don't talk. It's just the eyes, the look that's going to speak for them. My grandma gave me that stern look from the corner of her eyes. And immediately I knew I had to disappear and appear in the house. Initially, I pretended as if I didn't know what that means. I kept my face down, and when I looked up, she was still looking at me. I kept my face down again. I was just moving from one side to the other, and she looked at me the third time. She opened the eye very wide, and she looked at me sternly. I knew she was very angry. I knew what those eyes meant. Those eyes meant, disappear, get out of this place. Who asked you to come? That's number one. And then, there is another eye that will look at you and you know that it means you shouldn't eat anything. Maybe if someone had offered me something, she would have looked at me with those eyes again. And that one will interpret, I should not eat those things. But there was not an opportunity for that because immediately she looked at me the third time, I knew I just had to go back home. Immediately. She didn't have to talk. She didn't say a word. Others didn't even understand what was going on. It was just those eyes, those looks that made me understand. Every statement was spoken through those eyes. She didn't have to say a single word. The words were spoken through her looks, her eyes, and the way she kept the eyes spoke everything she needed to speak to me. Immediately, I disappeared and I found myself at home and I was crying. I wasn't happy because I know they were merrymaking. Why wouldn't I be there where people were merrymaking? But my grandma didn't want me to be there. And because she didn't want me to be there and I was there, she had to do what she had to do. And if she had to open her mouth to tell me go back home, it would be kind of a disrespecting to the celebrant. So she didn't want to make a scene out of it. So she quietly looked at me and I immediately knew what I had to do and which was to run back home. And I went back home. She didn't have to utter a word. I understood every message passed through her eyes. I was already shaking by the time she returned home because I knew what was going to follow. Either she was going to give me a stern warning or she was going to punish me. And I knew that would never repeat itself, so I had to discipline myself the hard way. Now, fast forward to the present time. I decided to apply the same principle technique, the same discipline technique to my kids born and raised in Europe. Guess what happened? I did the same thing to my child. The next thing, they just turned and looked at me and said, "What is it? Why are you looking at us with those eyes? Why are you looking at us like that?" And by the time we got home, I had to explain to them what those looks meant and why we have to make such moves at times. Action speaks louder than word. It's not all the time you have to caution a child in public. Sometimes you use the action, the sound languages, the body languages to speak. And I explained everything to them and they understood. By the way, the same thing happened to my friend. She didn't want the son to collect something from their neighbors. But you know, children, being who they are, he collected and the mom applied the same looking technique with me right there with them. There, and the boy said to her, "Why are you looking at me like that? Why do you pinch me?" And immediately started crying. But good for her, the neighbor isn't an African and did not even understand what was going on. You understand? So the neighbor was a kind of a surprise. What is going on? No, it's a mistake. Maybe your mom mistakenly touched you. It's not that she wanted to pinch you. She was even explaining, excusing the mother. She didn't even understand what was going on. But we all understood. Myself and my friend, we knew what was going on. But good for her, the neighbor didn't understand. So that was what saved her from that embarrassment. Nowadays, every family has their own medium of communication when they are outside. So I would want to ask you, which medium of communication is applicable to your family? For me, I am still very much comfortable with the eye contacts, different eye contact. When I don't want my kids to eat something, I know the eye contact I'm going to give to them and they will understand. If I don't want my kids to talk, or maybe they are saying something out of the board and I want them to just stop it, there's a kind of eye look I'm going to give to them and they are going to understand me immediately. If I don't want to have my kids somewhere, the eye contact works perfectly well for me and my family. So do well to tell me which medium or which technique of communication you and your family are using. By the way, we are done with the food. Rice and beans, very delicious, looks delicious. Have a good time to enjoy your food as much as I am going to enjoy this food. So I dish it into a plate. I am plating my food right now, guys. It looks yummy. It looks delicious. You can also cook this in the comfort of your home. It doesn't take anything. Rice, beans, and some spices. And then you have some veggies. You fry the veggies and you add your beans, you add your rice. I already parboiled the beans and I had already parboiled the rice. So I just fry everything and mix them up together, and the rest is what you're having right here. Doesn't this look beautiful? It looks delicious. It looks absolutely delicious. Thank you guys for watching me. Thank you for this time. See you some other time. Bye.